Okay, like I promised earlier, this video is optional, and it's if you want to have the up in the top left-hand corner up here. If you want this to be dynamic and say welcome with your customer's name up here, so we're going to create what's called a shortcode to do that. So now again, you can skip this if you wanted to just leave something static here, or if you wanted to follow along. You can, and I promised before that we wouldn't do any coding, and I'm sticking to that promise, and that's why I'm saying obviously this is optional. We do not need to do anything that you do not need to do anything that you're not comfortable with, but I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it, so it's easy. So if you're in your back end of your site here, what I'd like you to do, go down to Appearance on the menu here, and at the bottom there's something called Editor. If you click on that, you're going to be taken here. A couple of things to note to make sure 100% is that it says the child theme. If that is not set, you need to go to Themes, and so I'll just do that now. And you're going to have two, right? You'll have your normal Xstore theme and one that says Xstore Child. Make sure that you activate the Xstore Child theme, and that will allow you to use what we're going to be doing here in the editor. Okay, so if you're in there, what you would want to do is, so make sure you're back on the editor again here, and go over here to this side over here, and you want to make sure it says Xstore Child has been selected there, and underneath Theme Functions, we're going to click on this little button right here. Okay, and you're going to see something that looks like coding, and this is actual PHP coding, and we're going to create a new function. We're going to call it function. Okay, and we're going to call this login name display. Okay, and what we want to do is make sure that you surround it by these brackets. We're just above the 9 and the 0, and then of course the curly brackets. So next to your P button, you hold down Shift and you should get a curly bracket, and then hit a few enters, and then do the other bracket for the other side just right next to it there by holding down Shift and pressing it. And now you're into this, we're making a function. Okay, and so the first thing that we want to do here is we want to first check to see if the person, because we want to put their name on there, obviously, if they're not logged in, then it shouldn't show a name because it doesn't know a name. So we're going to have to ask it a question. Is the person logged in, and if they're not logged in, we want to display something, and if they are logged in, then we want to display their name. So we're going to ask it the question if. Now this is built into eCommerce, this function. Okay, so it's going to say if is user logged in, and that's actually a function, and it's going to return a true or a false to me. So what I'm looking for is if is user is logged in. If that's true, it's going to happen inside here. So if you noticed, I've put circular brackets around this statement, and then I put is underscore user underscore logged in, and then round brackets around here. Okay, so just make sure that you've copied this. Now keep in mind, you can just copy and paste this from the description down below. I'll have had this function there that you can just directly go into this and copy and paste it. But if you want to type it out, and feel free to do so. Okay, so I've made this function, and of course I've made a curly bracket opening and a curly bracket closing inside this if statement. And then I'm going to type in else open bracket and close brackets. Okay, so if user is logged in, okay, then we want to return. So we're going to return something. Okay, welcome back, and we're going to make, so you see these are just single quotes. That's the one right next to the enter button is a single quote. Then we want a dot, so make sure that this text welcome back is in these single quotes, and we're going to put a dot and make sure there's a space here. Okay. And so we got a dot there, and we're just going to leave that. We're just going to go just above here, and we're going to just enter some spaces so it's nice and clean. And we're going to type this in, current user equals, and this WP underscore get current user. Okay, so once you have that, we can actually do this. And then we're going to put a dash and a greater than sign. That's just above the dot on your keyboard. So hold down shift and push it. Okay, and first underscore name. Okay, once you've done that, you can put the semicolon button, which is the button that's right next to L. Okay, and we're gonna hit enter, and I just go up here and I hit enter as well, just to make it nice and clean looking. And now we're gonna go underneath the else. So if somebody is not logged in, we can just return okay, something like this. Okay, now you can change whatever you want here, make it capitals or whatever else, and we're gonna bring that up. So now we have this login underscore name display. We have all of this here. So this is a function that we've created. So now what I want to do is you can put it above here, or you can put it underneath this last curly bracket, whatever you prefer. And we're going to do add shortcode. Okay, now what we're going to call this is we'll call this top name display or something like that. Okay, and we're going to click comma and 2 more of these quotes, and we're going to close that bracket off. And I'm going to copy the name of this function actually. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it right in between these 2 little quotes like that. Okay, and now we're done. We've finished. So we're going to test this out now. I'm going to update that. Perfect. So that's done. Now we've named it top name display. So that's what I'm going to copy this here. Okay, and we're going to go to our widgets section. So let's click on widgets. Okay, and we're going to search for that left side top area where we had put this we sell top quality products, and I'm just going to paste this in here, this top name display. Now to do it as a shortcode, you need a square bracket. So right next to the P, don't push shift, just push the open square bracket and the close square bracket around this. Okay, and I'm going to save it. So let's test this now. Okay, it's done saving. I can go to my website and hit enter. So welcome back test, because that's the name I used. My first name is test. So as you can see, it's not capital letters. So you can always go back in there and change them to all capital letters if you wish, or you can actually use force the function to have everything as capitals, which I'll show you really quick. So make sure that you've gone back to the editor under appearance, and you've clicked on the functions, and go back to your functions here, and where we put this return, we can actually surround it into this str to upper. Okay, and then what you do is you click open circular bracket and a closed circular bracket, where the 0 is there, and we're going to do this to this one as well, str to upper around these ones. So I'm just putting those circular brackets around that, and I can go and update the file, and that's going to save it. And I can go back to my page and hit enter, and it should make everything capital always. It's a good way. It's a good idea that if you are deciding to do this, that you do use this built-in function, this str to upper, because a person could type their name in without capitals, and it could be bad. So this just forces everything that way. So that's how you do that. And so hopefully, if you followed along, you've done this if you've done this the first time, congratulations. You've been able to get past any comfort zone issues. That's it. And so there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do here. if you want to get advanced and technical with it. But that's for another lesson on another course to do custom WordPress coding. But to get your website up and running, you don't need to do any of this stuff. Like I said, it was built in, and you could have just put in that static information that you had before. So give yourself a pat on the back if you did do this function, and we'll see you in the next video.